we discuss the various types of anxiety disorders that can show up in the workplace. Today, we are going to embark on a journey of self-discovery as we explore how to identify your personal anxiety triggers. This is a crucial step in managing anxiety because once you know what sets it off, you can develop strategies to cope or even avoid those triggers altogether. What are anxiety triggers? Triggers are specific situations, events, people, or even thoughts that spark your anxiety. They are like the match that lights the fuse. While some triggers are common to many people, others are unique to each individual. For example, one person might feel anxious in crowded spaces, while another might feel anxious when they have to speak in public. Some people might be triggered by certain smells or sounds, while others might be triggered by specific memories or thoughts. Why is it important to identify your triggers? Identifying your triggers is like having a roadmap for your anxiety. It allows you to anticipate when you might experience anxiety and take steps to prepare yourself. It also gives you the power to avoid or modify triggers that you can control. For example, if you know that a particular colleague always makes you feel anxious, you might try to limit your interactions with them or develop strategies to coping with their behavior. If you know that certain thoughts tend to trigger your anxiety, you can learn to challenge and reframe those thoughts. How to identify your triggers? Identifying your triggers takes time and effort, but it's a worthwhile investment. Here are a few strategies you can use. Keep an anxiety journal. Whenever you experience anxiety, write down the details. What were you doing? Where were you? Who were you with? What were you thinking about? Look for the patterns over time. Track your physical symptoms. Anxiety often manifests physically. Notice when you experience symptoms like a racing heart, shortness of breath, or muscle tension. These physical sensations can be clues to your triggers. Reflect on past experiences. Think back to times when you felt particularly anxious. What were the circumstances? Were there any common themes? Talk to a therapist. A therapist can help you identify triggers that you might not be aware of. They can also help you understand the underlying reasons why certain things trigger your anxiety. Use technology. There are many apps and online tools available to help you track your mood and identify triggers. Workplace anxiety triggers. While triggers are highly individual, there are some common workplace triggers that many people experience. These include high workload and deadlines, performance reviews and feedback, difficult interactions with colleagues or supervisors, public speaking or presentations, conflict or disagreements, job insecurity or layoffs, changes in workplace procedures or policies. What to do once you have identified your triggers? Once you have identified your triggers, you can start to develop coping strategies. This might involve avoiding or minimizing exposure to triggers when possible, developing relaxation techniques to use when encounter a trigger, challenging negative thoughts and replacing them with positive ones, seeking support from a therapist or counselor. In the next lecture, we will delve into relaxation techniques you can use to manage anxiety in the moment. Remember, identifying your triggers is just the first step. The real work is in learning how to cope with them effectively.